Hey, Geminis. Welcome to your Gemini horoscopes for the week of August 27th to September 2nd. No planets in Gemini this week. We will have some moon action next week. We'll leave that off to next week. We continue to have Vespa influencing your sign as well and continue to influence your finances this week. Now, finances and Mercury retrograde, those two things, especially with Mercury being your ruling planet, those two things don't always go together, if that makes sense. And I feel that it's really important, especially with Vespa's influence on security there in your finances, that it first, the two things: one, that you have a lot of patience. It's really important to have a lot of patience when, especially during a Mercury retrograde, for everybody. But the other thing is that to be aware of your reactions, specifically when financial things come up that tend to feel like they're altering your security or threatening your security in terms of finances in some way, if that makes sense. We all have these things that come up, something happens and, your car starts making a noise and you automatically go to, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend everything in my savings to get this fixed. Or, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that comes up where you panic, right? Before you even know what you're in for, if that makes sense. And so this week really is all about that. It's helping you to understand that it's better to panic when you have something to panic about rather than automatically panicking about something that could happen financially, if that makes sense. But this is also why it's really important to make sure that you have money set aside for those types of emergencies. It's a lifelong lesson for me that I don't think I really quite have learned yet, but it's true. These things happen. We're dealing with machinery here, and we're dealing with Mercury retrograde in machinery. So I'm not just saying, that obviously something's going to happen to your car, Geminis. It's not necessarily true, but anything with moving parts is affected by Mercury retrograde. And we tend to have these little bloops and these little weird things that happen, where the other day I thought my phone was just shorting out and dying. It was acting really weird. And then all of a sudden it was fine. It restarted itself and it was fine. These little things happen during Mercury retrogrades all the time. And if you're going to panic over every little thing, then you're going to be using a whole lot of energy to panic over every little thing, not reserving anything for the things that you need to focus on later on. So it becomes a big challenge. And I think for you Geminis, it's a really big challenge because you're already mentally preparing for everything. So you're adding all of these things in there to try and mentally prepare for something that just, again, it may not actually happen. So this week is a really good opportunity to check in with yourself when something like that happens, to check in, to make sure that you're not in that panic state, to make sure that you're not blowing things out of proportion and not exhausting yourself. I guarantee that if you spend one day doing that and one day not doing that, you're going to feel an energy difference at the end of the day. Both days, first of all, and that includes a mental energy difference. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm an Aquarius, and I've noticed that at the end of the day, when I've used my brain a lot, good, bad, or indifferent, it feels like it's turning into oatmeal. I can almost feel the oatmeal seeping out of my ears. That is brain tired. When you're sitting there talking to somebody and you have a response, you just can't get the response to go from here to here. That is severe brain tired. And if you're going through that every day, you are overworking that organ, and you need to maybe think about giving it breaks from time to time. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do click the link in the description of the video and send me a coffee. You know how much I would love that. If you're listening instead of viewing, that's ko-fi /heavy metal psychic. Also check out heavymetalpsychic.com. You can book a reading right there on the website. It's super easy peasy for everybody. I am Melissa Bruce, a heavy metal psychic. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week. I know you guys are going to make it a really good and a very interesting week. You always do. Have a good one, guys.